So that's why whenever I speak to Catholics in forums like what we held at Santa Isabel College, I think 2 Fridays ago, we would always insist, especially to the sisters, can you please talk about these wonderful institutions that we have? And in fact, in the end, even the pro-RH people, they would actually refer pregnant women who find themselves in this particular situation to even the Catholic institutions because they are unable to actually give them the proper counseling, the support that these Catholic institutions are able to give. So that's the second part of our take on the issue of unwanted pregnancies, which they are always talking about. So we would prefer to refer them to pro-life counseling centers like these, which would first ask them, counsel them to bring the baby to term. Okay, which will never, and we will never ask them to abort the baby because this is an abominable crime. We know that. And second, that will give appropriate counseling to the mother so that in the end the mother would love the child and also would take very good care of both the mother and the child. Okay, so that's the more immediate counseling or rather advice that we would give, but we need to always drum up or emphasize our, you can say, our banner solution, which is the long-term solution, which is known to all, except that, shall we face it? I mean, we have to face it. Abstinence education is either difficult to understand for most people, and that's why we have to, through Veritas, for example, we must teach this, okay? And we, of course, our Catholic faith already has natural family planning, for example. I mean, let's face it, it may be difficult, but that's why I was reviewing earlier the homily of Cardinal Rosales in that famous March 25th rally at the Luneta, and he really needed to emphasize the idea that in all of these long-term solutions, abstinence, education, and even natural family planning, there is always the need for temperance, self-control, etc., which can be very difficult, but that is the only long-term solution because when one doesn't practice that, then all of these ills will come in. Okay, so sorry for taking so long.
So you're saying, Doctor, that
Yes.
this RH bill or reproductive health bill
It's neither reproduction nor health. So because it doesn't propose reproduction because it's anti-conceptive and it's neither health. So which is something that we've always said in our group.
So this is misleading actually.
Yes, right. That's why they've had to sort of flip-flop on even the naming or the entitling of the bill. I have a copy of the bill right in front of me, and in fact over time they've had to sort of rename even the bill by saying an act providing for a national policy on reproductive health, responsible parenthood, ? And population development, and for other purposes, another ? It's all about it's not even reproductive health, it's all about reproductive rights, but that's part of a long history of what we call verbal calisthenics that all of the crafters of this bill have gone through over the years because they realized that proposing a law for abortion and any of these related crimes will never sell, at least not in a country like the Philippines. So over time, they've had to change the wording and even, for example, the bill as it stands right now, they've had to sort of amend so many things. But take note, and I want our listeners to take note of this, that the so-called amendments to the version that I have right in front of me, they are of no legislative use as of the moment because the Congress, of course, is on recess right now, sine die, meaning on recess. And the discussions on this are pending in Congress right now, and it will all reopen on July 25th, right after the SONA of the Philippine President. Okay, so take note that those amendments are of no legislative use as of the moment because we are just in the period of interpellations. That's why the pro-lifers among our congressmen are pushing for the hearing out of all of the interpellators. As of the last time, there were around 38 pro-life congressmen queued up for interpellating the authors of the bill. And I think we managed to hear out only 3 or 4 of them. In fact, Congressman Manny Pacquiao was not even listed there, except that they wanted to take advantage of his presence during those days to actually interpellate some of the authors of the bill. Okay, so it's neither reproduction nor health. So it's plain and simple wanting to drum down, to shove down the throats of the Filipino people, perhaps because they don't like people. Okay, and I really couldn't understand that. All of these supplies, what they call reproductive health supplies or family planning supplies, which we know to be also related to the selling of abortion. Okay?
Dr. Racelis,
Yes, right.
sinasabi ng mga RH bill promoters na
Yes.
they're not for abortion,
Okay.
they are only for contraception. Anong masabi mo
Yes,
dyan?
yes. Okay, I'll try to answer that question in two ways, yeah, if you'll allow me. First is there have been a lot of studies that have shown that indeed there is a huge relationship between contraception and abortion. One piece of data that we always make use of is from the Guttmacher Institute, which is actually a research arm of Planned Parenthood itself, this famous pro-abortion movement that we have in the States, which is actually part of the foreign group that actually is giving a push to this RH bill here in the Philippines, and the pro-RH people prefer to deny that. Okay, so the Guttmacher Institute tells us that around 54% of the people, at least in the U.S., okay, that went for abortions actually used contraception. Okay, so which means that when contraception fails, then the necessary next stage is abortion, unfortunately. Okay, so that's one very clear correlation there. The second aspect related to that answer of mine is the fact that the contraceptive mentality altogether in general leads necessarily to an abortion mentality or an altogether hatred for the baby. Okay, and that's the reason why at least when we attack this particular HB 4244 in its present form, we prefer to tackle the abortifacient effects of all of the family planning supplies that are being pushed, contraceptives, etc. Because when everyone gets to know about the abortifacient effects of many of these contraceptives, then they realize that they're actually killing the life in the womb. Okay, and when there is that heavy contraceptive mentality that already exists in the minds of individuals and of entire societies, necessarily there emerges a hatred for human life in general, including the life in the womb. So like it's so simple for a girl who has an unwanted pregnancy all of a sudden to say, just get rid of the baby. Okay, or some of them nagbubulag-bulagan. Okay, they would say it's just a clump of cells or something similar. Okay, so when you have an entire contraceptive mentality, the entire society that has a contraceptive mentality, then it has been shown in many societies that there's a huge correlation with abortion. So that's one part of my answer. The second part of my answer deals with the sociological effects. Okay, meaning we cannot separate the emotional and sociological effects of human action. Okay, that from the very biological act of taking in the pill and all that. Okay, so there's always that sociological impact of an entire society, an entire mentality creeping into entire societies that are now becoming pro-abortion. Okay, so let me share with you. A survey done. Well, this was in the States, but I'm sharing with you some of the top reasons why women in specific countries. This is U.S. data. Okay, why some women, most women in the U.S. get an abortion. Okay, and I need to share this why, because this is to show us that it is not exactly for the reason that we want to stop unwanted pregnancies that they are actually trying to push the RH bill. It's for financial reasons. There's a lot of money in it. Pharmaceuticals are out to get the money of the people, etc. And also the abortion movement. Let me tell you about some abortion groups in the Philippines that are so active right now. That's actually the second part of my answer. Okay, but let me just read it out. So it was found in the U.S. that it's a lie for the pro-RH people to say that we need the poor people or those who don't know any better. They need all the contraceptive supplies that we are giving a push to in the bill, condoms, IUDs, pills, contraceptives, etc., etc. Because there is no relationship between what they're asking our people to actually consume, I mean all these contraceptives and all that, and the real reasons why some people take an abortion, go for abortions.